two mistakes from us, 2 goals for them, and obviously with the chances we'd missed, it just felt like it wasn't meant to be. We give it absolutely everything. In this competition, you're either in or you're out, and over the 2 legs, could have scored some. Well, 3 or 4 goals, to be honest with you, but Donnarumma's been unbelievable, and you got to look at the small margins. It just obviously wasn't meant to be.
Quarter-finals last year, semi-finals this year. Next year, what does get this over the line?
Yeah, look, in life in general, I think sometimes you have to lose a few in order to win, and you have to overcome some of these setbacks to mentally grow and grow as a person and as a player and as a group. And I think we're going through that stage at the minute after a few losses in terms of losing out in the league, coming close in the Champions League back-to-back years. So look, we're growing as a team, as people, but we need to keep pushing and keep believing. This is why we play this sport. There's going to be setbacks along the way. PSG have obviously gone through tonight. We're absolutely gutted, but this isn't going to define us for sure. We're going to be back, and when we get our players back that have been out for a very long time, we're going to be a much stronger outfit, so we've got to keep going.
Do you think ultimately not having the full squad when you get to this point in a competition is actually a bit of a game changer?
Yeah, it's tough. We've done the whole season without 5 or 6 of our best players, and to be where we are and to do what we've done has been unbelievable. Fully stand by that. In the end, the group of players that have gone out there have given it absolutely everything. The whole squad has, even the players that flew over with us tonight that have been injured, every staff member, and everyone fully believed. And I think you could see that from the first whistle, how much we believed we could win and go out there and put on a performance. And like you said, on another night, we maybe scored 2 or 3 tonight. It was just that first 20 minutes where they score. We obviously had them chances where we didn't score. It was a real kick in the teeth. So yeah, we'll assess it. We'll be back, and 3 games left. It's been a really long season. We've really, really wanted this one, but yeah, we'll keep pushing because this is why we play this sport. We want to win, and we want to do the best we can.
For you and that dressing room, you're in it every day. What's it like coming up so close each season and just not quite nailing that trophy, which is what ultimately everybody wants?
Yeah, we're all desperate for it. That's why we play football. That's why we play this game. We want to win trophies. We want to be at the pinnacle of football, winning stuff. But like I said, obviously, for whatever reason, these last 2 years in the cup competitions in the Premier League, it hasn't been meant to be. We've been really, really close. It's obviously not good enough because Arsenal are a club that deserve to be winning trophies and deserve to be pushing. And there's not a lot more we can really be doing. But like I said, sometimes in life you have to go through these small losses in order to win big, and that's what a lot of these big superstars have done in the past. They've all suffered defeats to then come out on top, and I'm sure this group will, because it hurts. You see the boys in there, you see the manager. Yeah, it's tough. It's a semi-final. We want it to be in Munich, and it's obviously not meant to be, but it doesn't define us, like I said, and we'll be back for sure.
Thank you.
Good. Something extra that you need in the competition to go your way, and it didn't.
Are you proud of the fact that it's the second season in the Champions League, quarter-finals, semi-finals? What ultimately might get you over the line potentially next season?
I'm sad and I'm upset, and we should not be. Yeah, we were very close. Yes, for long periods of both games we were much better than them, but we are not there, and that has to hurt. And if we want to win this competition and go there, we need to realize that, and there are certain things that are on us, and you shouldn't be just understanding that we are out. It's not the way I look at it.
Are you happy, or have you seen enough progress with your team this season?
100%. I don't think there's been a better team in the competition so far, what I've seen. But we are out tonight. We deserve much more, I think, in both games. But this competition is about the boxes, and in the boxes there are normally the strikers most of the time and a goalkeeper, and he was the best player in both games.
Ultimately, what do you want to do over the summer to make changes or add to get further?
I'm so proud of the boys, and what they deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing in the context and the situation, and with the amount of injuries. We have arrived here probably in the worst state that you can arrive as a team. You have to get here with everybody fit, available, with a lot of minutes, with rest, like they had a week. We come here in a completely different context and still do that. So that gives me a lot of positivity for the future. But tonight I'm very upset.
And Mikel, thank you for talking to us anyway.
And it'll sting for a while. Martin, he talks about the progression that they've made, that he's happy with that. Where do you stand on Arsenal's progression?
Well, to be honest, I agree with a lot what the manager has said there tonight about being proud with the group. There was a lot of pressure on them those first 15 minutes. They really took the game to their opponent, just weren't clinical enough. That's where they failed, really. But I think the journey that they're on, I think he's putting the pieces together in this jigsaw piece. It's a long, winding road. It's not a straight path to success. And I know what that feels like. And he's talked before this game tonight about the hurt, anger, and using it as energy into tonight's game. They did that. And that's what they're going to have to build upon for next season. I was in an Arsenal team that went 3 seasons second best to Manchester United. Disappointments in major cup finals. Okay, this is almost like a cup final here. They've got to bounce back and make sure that they build from there. It's a foundation to build from now, but obviously recruitment is key to that. You know, we look at this team here tonight. They bought Kvaratskhelia in January for £80 million, and they made a statement, and look how important he's been to them. So, you know, I think Arsenal got caught on the hop a little bit with the injuries that they had, but I think they've done well with the players he's at his disposal. I think they've gone a hell of a long way in this tournament.
What was it you think took your team over the line?
Belief. This won't happen to us again. It can't happen. The hurt. We'll find a way to be successful, and we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to go and do that. But you have to stick together right now. You know, it's about tying down these players, the likes of Saliba, keep him at the football club. This is the back four that Arsenal have got. Okay, Gabriel not available. Some of the best defenders in Europe. So it's look at the positives. Declan Rice been going from strength to strength. You know, it's certain areas of the pitch. It's not massive jobs here to put the icing on the cake for Arsenal to be successful.
Jack, you praised how good a coach Mikel Arteta is, and knowing him from playing and also his time in coaching, and you learning a little bit and being inspired by him. But has he had enough support in terms of the hierarchy above him, giving him the right players or giving him the right sort of budget for it?
Well, we've definitely spent some money. Maybe we could have spent more. I think a big thing is the injuries, honestly, Laura. And I know people will say, oh, that's an excuse. It's not an excuse, it's a fact. Owen mentioned earlier about Milan having the possibility to make changes. Barcelona brought on Lewandowski off the bench to try and find something. So, of course, it makes a difference. They have to find a way to be able to keep these players fit for the whole season and be able to make them compete. I see a lot of similarities with what Martin's saying with his team, and you know, I played in a team that